night sky. Its running lights weren't on, which was odd. The balloon was higher than us by about 100 feet, drifting off our starboard bow. The burner came on suddenly, shedding blue flame to heat the air in the balloon's envelope for a few seconds. But I couldn't see anyone at the controls. They must have been set on a clockwork timer. Nobody was moving around in the gondola. It was deep and wide, big enough for a kind of sleeping cabin on one side, and plenty of storage underneath. I couldn't ever recall seeing a balloon this far out. I lifted the speaking tube to my mouth. "Crow's Nest reporting!" I waited a moment as my voice hurtled down through the tube, 150 feet to the control car suspended from the Aurora's belly.
"Go ahead, Mr. Cruz."
It was Captain Walken on watch tonight, and I was glad, for I much preferred him to the other officers. Some of them just called me Cruz or Boy, figuring I wasn't worth a mister on account of my age. But never the captain. To him I was always Mr. Cruz, and it got so that I'd almost started to think of myself as a mister. Whenever I was back in Lionsgate City on shore leave, and my mother or sisters called me Matt, my own name sounded strange to me at first. "Hot air balloon at 1 o'clock, maybe a half-mile off, 100 feet up."
"Thank you, Mr. Cruz."
There was a pause, and I knew the captain would be looking out the enormous wraparound windows of the control car. Because it was set well back from the bow, its view of anything high overhead was limited. That's why there was always a watch posted in the forward crow's nest. The Aurora needed a set of eyes up top.
"Yes, I see it now. Well spotted, Mr. Cruz. Can you make out its markings? We'll train the light on it."
Mounted at the front of the control car was a powerful spotlight. Its beam cut a blazing swath through the night and struck the balloon. It was in a sorry state, withered and puckered. It was leaking, or maybe the burner wasn't working properly. "The Endurance!" I read into the speaking tube. She looked like she'd endured a bit too much. Maybe a storm had punctured her envelope or bashed her about some. And still no sign of the pilot in the gondola. Along the length of the speaking tube, I heard tinny murmurings from the control car as the captain conferred with the bridge officers.
"It's not on the flight plan,"
I heard Mr. Torbay, the navigator, say. Every airship had to register its flight plan before departing. If this vessel wasn't on the plan, it was either a rogue or had drifted off course for some reason.
"Any sign of the pilot yet, Mr. Cruz?"
"No, sir."
"We'll try to raise him on the wireless."
I waited. The balloon was not really moving, as the wind was so light. We were rapidly gaining. There was something eerie about it, just hanging there like a dead thing, all dark and listless in the sky. After a few moments, the captain's voice sounded over the speaking tube.
"We can't raise anyone on the Endurance, Mr. Cruz. No signs of life."
"None, sir." I felt the slightest heaviness in my heels and knew that we were climbing, the Aurora angling gently heavenward to meet the Endurance. I lost sight of the gondola, and after a moment could only see the balloon's very top as the captain took us closer. Through the crow's nest platform, I felt the ship's pulse slow as the propellers cut back. When you've been aloft a long time, you can almost predict the ship's every movement through your own skin and sinew, like you're joined together. I heard the captain shouting out the control car window through a bullhorn.
"Endurance! This is the Aurora! Please respond!"
Again and again. If the pilot had been asleep, this should have roused him. But after a minute with no response, the captain gave up. Through the speaking tube, I overheard him talking to his rudderman.
"Come around, Mr. Kahlo. We'll bring her as close as we can and try to take the gondola on board. Likely someone's injured or abandoned ship. Either way, the Endurance is in distress. We can't leave her drifting like flotsam through the sky lanes."
Bring it on board? Now that would be a feat. A mid-air rescue would surely be tricky, but it was Skyway's law to help another vessel in distress. I heard footsteps coming up the ladder. My watch was over, and I was being relieved by Pieter Ridderhoff, a third officer who was still junior.